Okay, so let me first break down this tier list for you because it's a bit different than most tier lists. So obviously the top is broken operators. There's not going to be many here, but they are operators that I think if they got nerfed, nobody would complain. And honestly, they should be nerfed. The second category is going to be must picks, which mean if you picked these operators every round, nobody would complain at all. There are things like hard breachers, things that you have to bring every round in order to win. Operators are good. They're not must picks. There's some operators that you can bring that nobody would complain about, but you don't need to bring every round. They're not broken. They're just good. There's operators that are okay. They're not quite good. They could get buffed a little bit, but they're okay. And then there's situational. So these operators aren't bad. They're not worse than okay. They're not worse than good. They can be good or okay, but only in certain situations. So I made a specific category just for that. And then there's needs rework. So they are operators that are terrible. And if you play any of these operators, your teammates are going to complain and you're probably going to lose the round. They need to be buffed heavily, or more realistically, they need to be taken out of the game and just replaced with new operators. Because some of these operators are just beyond saving with their concepts. And then there's the weirdest one that I have that I actually got from a different YouTuber named Braction. I thought this was a really good idea. It's called the Void. So there's operators that don't quite fit in with anything else. They're operators usually that are below okay, but are above needs rework. They're not situational. They're not broken. They're not must picks. And genuinely, you're not going to see anybody picking them. They kind of just exist. They kind of are just in the void of this tier list. So that's why I made that category. If that's a little weirdly explained, you'll see what I'm talking about in a little bit. First operator I have is Sledge. He's a must pick. His sledgehammer can break so many things. He has really, really good weapons, minus the SMG-11 now, unfortunately. 2 frag grenades all around. If you brought him every single round, no one would complain. I don't really have any complaints about him. He's not broken. He's just a must pick. Ella, completely broken. Completely broken. The reason that people wouldn't say that she's broken is just because you don't see her played a lot of rounds, but when she is played, she's an absolute menace. Her mines slow you. They make it to where your ADS isn't the same. You can't shoot as fast. It's ridiculous. She's absolutely broken. Her shotgun is crazy. It's almost automatic. It does so much damage. It has so much range with the extended barrel. Her other primary gun is the exact same. Crazy fire rate, crazy damage. Completely broken. If she got nerfed, I would have 0 complaints. Osa is a must pick. She's actually really good. When she first came out, I probably would have put her in good. You can play her really any site. She has deployable shields you can carry around. She has amazing primary weapons. You can break the deployable shields to use cover. Every single round that she's played, when I'm on defense, I am heavily annoyed, which means she's good. So yeah. And then you have all of the hard breachers. You have Thermite, he's a must pick to get the wall open. You have Ace. You have Habana. Maverick. Obviously, you need certain hard breachers for certain sites in must pick at all times. Bandit is a must pick, obviously, for walls. The same can be said for any other entry denial sort of people like Cade. Mute, I'm actually going to put at the top of must pick. He's great. Maybe later in the video I'll start like actually organizing all of my categories instead of just putting you in a category. But Mute, if he might even be borderline broken. Like he's really in between here if there was a category for that. But Mute is amazing. I love Mute. Let's see who else could be put in must pick. So that's pretty much it for all the wall and anti-wall stuff. Jackal, must pick. He's pretty good. He is the most efficient roam clearing device in the game. Like, he obviously is good. There's a reason he's banned every round. I think the higher elo you go, especially if people are playing Mute a lot, he just goes down to good. But for now, I'm going to put him in must pick. Mira as well, must pick. She's really... never mind. I'm actually going to put Mira in situational. So... Mira, you can't bring to every site. Let's say like Hookah and Coastline, you can't bring her there. Her Miras are just gonna get shot out. There's big windows everywhere. Like, you can't bring her everywhere. But the places you do bring her, she's a must pick for those sites. So she's gonna be put in situational. Again, doesn't mean she's bad. She's just situational. Finka's good. I like Finka. I would have put her in the Void or almost borderline needs rework before the buff, but after the buff and the change, I think she's good. She can still survive. She has all these buffs she gives. She doesn't fuck up the recoil. She's amazing. Glaz, he's between needs rework and the void. Honestly, I'm gonna put needs rework. There really is no reason to pick Glaz over like either a Ying if you really want to see through smokes that bad, or a Kali if you want to have a good sniper. Especially after they nerfed him, whenever he has to be standing still to see through smoke, it just doesn't make sense to ever pick him, literally ever. So I will stand by the fact that I think he needs rework. Knock is in the void for me. Knock, I'm hearing whispers that she's gonna get a buff in this next season. I really hope that she is. The buff is that she's going to be able to go through any gadgets like Capcan traps, Malusis, Elemines, anything like that, and not be detected, which is what I think she needed from the start. But that's going to make her great. I think that's going to put her into good, almost must pick. But for right now, she's in the void. There's like not really a time and or place to play her unless they have like a Valkyrie, but even then you just bring IQ. Her guns are terrible. But she doesn't need a rework. She just needs a buff. So I'm going to put her in the void. Blackbeard needs a rework. Honestly, if they deleted him from the game and then replaced him with an operator, I think that would be better than buffing him at all. Because if you buff him, he's just going to become too strong. The overall concept of who he is as an operator just is bad. Clash. Okay. I have really mixed feelings about Clash. If you go against a good Clash player, she's fucking broken. But at the same time, if you're high enough elo, you know how to deal with the Clash easily, making her go down to like good. But then anybody that's like plat and below, just like she needs a rework. She's fucking terrible. Like she's in a very, very, very weird spot for me. So personally, what I think is that she's okay. I think she's okay. She is really good in certain situations. She's really bad in certain situations. There's not situations where she's a must pick, so I can't put her in situational. I don't think she needs to be reworked. I think she just needs to be balanced in different ways. But she's just kind of okay. She's not just there, because she can have a presence if you know how to play her, so I'm just putting her in okay. Pulse is okay. His gun selection isn't great. His gadget's pretty good, but you just don't see a lot of people playing Pulse just because really of the gun selection. So he's okay. Next is Castle. I made an entire video on Castle, so if you watch that, you know my opinions on Castle. He's situational, but I think in times when he's situational, he's actually good. I wouldn't put him in must pick when he's situational, just because there's too many things that can destroy his gadget. But he's actually really good, and I recommend you open your mind to play him in different ways. I talked about it in a video that I'll link right here. You can actually go see it. But he's situational. Blitz is in the void for me. If you go against a good Blitz player, he's annoying as shit, but at the same time, it's like you just kind of shoot him in the legs or you run away. So he's not okay. He's not situational. He's definitely not any of these three. I don't think he needs a rework. He's just kind of there. Monty, I think, is okay. Same thing with Pulse. There's just not a lot of Monty players. He's kind of just undiscovered. If you go against a good Monty player, you will definitely feel his presence. He's very good when used correctly. And there's still a reason why he's in the top 10% of bans. So Monty is okay. Thunderbird, I want to put must pick or good. She's not broken. She really isn't. People just say she is. In a game, especially the higher elo you go where there's one-tap headshots, the amount of healing you have doesn't matter, which is why I want to put her in must pick and not in broken, because she still has 3 healing stations. She completely outclassifies Doc. The only thing that's holding me back is her gun selection, but she's definitely better than Finka and on the same level as Jackal, so I'm going to put her in must pick. Flores is good. I think Flores is great. He has 6 drones in total, which is really good. And the drones that he do have are explosive, and they do a lot of things. His gun selection's great. He can shoot his drones and mute his drones and Mozzie his drones. But that's really about it. He might even be must pick, dude. Fuck. If there was a category in between, I'd put him there. But I think I'm gonna put him in good. We don't have enough people in good. That's the only reason I put him there. Twitch is good. I think people hate on Twitch just because there are other people you can pick to do the same job, but her gun is amazing. Uh, she can now jump with her drone. She has a default drone now and two of her drones. She has infinite zaps now. It's Twitch. Twitch is good. Twitch is good. Fuse. Okay, Fuse. I'm gonna put. I don't know where to put Fuse. He can go through reinforced walls now. So that would have put him from like a void to an okay for me. So for right now, he's okay. He has one of, if not the best gun in the game. His gadget is very predictable. Like once you start to learn the noise of what it sounds like, you just run away, or you have everybody brings Jaeger, everybody brings Wamai. But if you know how to do his pathing with his fuse charges, it's really good. So I'm gonna put him in okay. I think he's okay. Especially you can just shoot his fuse charges too. Like he's okay. Tachanka, I think is good. People have not discovered how to play Tachanka yet. But he is essentially just smoke, but with a worse weapon, and more utility. I think if people stopped playing Tachanka with his turret and started playing it with his SMG, he would be a must pick. But because he's not discovered and people don't really know how to like bounce his grenades and stuff like that quite yet, he's just gonna go in good for now. But I think he could be higher if the player base started to accept him a little bit more. Capcan, situational. There are maps where you cannot use Capcan for the life of you. They're just like are so obvious spots, but there are maps where you will walk through archways that you didn't know you could put Capcan traps on and you're just dead. Like Border is an example of a great Capcan map. But he's situational. And in the situations where he is used, he's good. He's got okay guns. He has a C4, so I think situational is the place for him. Sophia's a must pick. She brings so much utility. 2 stuns, 2 impacts. She has S tier weapons, like broken weapons. Her LMG is amazing, so she's a must pick. IQ is good. I think IQ is a little slept on just because she's kind of like Twitch, where there's other people that can do the same job as her, but better. But she has great gun selection. She can shoot things through walls and find the bomb site if it's not found. She can warn teammates of things that are like on doors before they walk in. I personally like IQ a lot, so I'm putting her in good. Capitão's okay. Most people would put him in void, but I think Capitão is a little better than people think he is. Buck is good. I think without his frag grenades, he's not a must pick, but I don't know. He does a lot. He does a lot for the team. I think with his frag grenades, he was must pick, like zero question. But I think for now, he's good. He has flash grenades now, and you can do Buck's job with Sledge, really. I think at one point they also nerfed Buck's recoil too. So I'm going to put him at the very, very top of good. Echo is... Ooh, I don't know where to put Echo. I'm going to put him in okay. With Echo, he doesn't have invisible drones anymore. So where he would have been in broken, he now is just in okay. They're clear as day. You can see him. You can shoot him. But if you have a really good Echo player that waits till the last second to where you're planting the bomb, it doesn't really matter if you shoot him because he's just going to have a second one he can roll in and deny your plant. And if he moves around his drone after he shoots you, like, you know, you have a really good Echo player, he can be good. That's why I'm not putting him in void. He has a good primary weapon, a really good secondary weapon. He has a deployable shield. He's not terrible, but he's just okay. Ying is good. Ying, again, is one of those people that it's like you don't see him brought often, just like Ella, but when you do see him, you feel him. Like, it's annoying. It's very, very annoying to play against a Ying. Especially if you don't have like a Jaeger or a Wamai, like they just get free kills. Her guns are great. She's just overall really, really good. Valkyrie broken. She has 3 almost like unseeable cameras that have crazy range that you can put anywhere on the map that are tiny that you can fit in the dumbest, darkest places and they will not be able to see it. Border is a great example again of where you can put Valk cams that nobody's going to be able to find. They're so tiny and so black that you can put them pretty much anywhere and get free intel, and there's 3 of them. So she completely broken, needs a nerf in some way. Legion is good. He has great weapon selection. He provides a lot of information. He provides a lot of annoyance to the attackers. He almost borderline must pick for me, but I think with all of the anti-gadget people like IQ, Thatcher, stuff like that, twitch, and now that his mines aren't invisible anymore, they're like kind of invisible, you can still kind of see him. He's only good. If they made it to where they were invisible again, he'd be must pick, but for now he's good. Maestro must pick. Now that you can melee his cameras, it makes it a little worse if the Maestro dies. I would have personally put him in broken before, but they took away his ACOG. They made it to where you can knife his deployable shields. So that's a little bit of a nerf, but he's still must pick. He can deny any hard breach by zapping it. He can even down players with his cameras. They're bulletproof. Even if you do knife them, you can just open them and shoot people still. If you put them on like over a hatch and you break the hatch below it, they literally can't go up and knife it anyways. So I think he's a must pick. He's very, very good. Dokkaebi. I don't know where to put Dokkaebi. A good Dokkaebi player is like top of good, almost must pick. Just because of the fact that she can roam clear really, really well, especially with a coordinated team if you're roam clearing at 2 different points. She calls your phones and your phones ring, and then she can hear you and kill you and then pick up your phone. And now she has access to every single camera that the defenders have. So if you're roam clearing with Dokkaebi and you kill the roamer, it's almost a guaranteed win. So I'm actually going to put her in good, especially in the hands of players that know what they're doing with her. The only thing keeping me from putting her in must pick is her gun selection. She has just really, really bad guns. So I'm putting her in good. Smoke is a must pick. If you pick Smoke every round, nobody would complain. His gun selection is great in the hands of a great player. In the hands of an average or below average player, his gun selection is really, really bad. But the SMG-11 is a body shot monster. You can, if you hit heads with it, it's amazing. The shotgun is great. It's like a sniper rifle. You can make rotates with that shotgun. You have a deployable shield. You have 3 smoke canisters that deny 30 seconds of the round. Smoke is amazing. I actually have started to main Smoke recently. I think he's extremely underrated, especially in the lower ranks. So Smoke is a must pick for me. Thatcher, must pick, obviously. You need him to get any sort of walls that have Cades or Bandits on them unless you have Maverick. His gun selection's great. He denies literally every single piece of utility that has electronics inside of it on defense. So he's the person you go to before IQ, before Twitch, before Flores in order to get utility off of the board. Vigil, I would have put him in good, but now that there's so many people that you can roam with that bring more utility than Vigil does, I want to put him in okay. Now, the fact that you can't drone Vigil if he's running is great. He can sit in corners and have you not drone him, but they're going to know that you're in the general vicinity anywhere because there's white lines that'll appear at the bottom of your screen if he's near. You can do the exact same thing he does, which is denying drones with Mozzie. You can do it with Mute and have a better gun selection, bring more utility to your team. So I'll still give him the benefit of the doubt and put him in good just because of his gun selection and because of how easy it is to play him. But he's getting outshined right now by a lot of other operators. Melusi's a must pick. Melusi's great. Always has been. Even after the nerf, she still has a gadget that literally just acts as an alarm for where the attackers are pushing. Now that you can shoot the gadget, it is a little less annoying. She was broken before that, but now she's not. She has a great gun selection. Overall, she's just, if you pick her every round, no one's going to complain. Nomad's a must pick. You never have to worry about your flank with a Nomad, and if they do end up shooting your air jab, you'll hear it if you're a good player and just turn around and shoot them anyways. So having to not worry about your flank because you have a device that protects you is amazing. Having 3 of them that protect you is even better. Her gun selection is amazing. She has some of the best guns in the game. She can completely deny runouts. It's great. Nomad is always a must pick. If you pick her, your team is only going to love you. Mozzie is good. Mozzie does the same thing that Vigil does, denies drones, but instead of just denying drones and droning, he turns them into cameras. That aspect of turning drones into cameras is very, very, very underplayed with Mozzie. People like to use his drones and drone out attackers and get their drone shot instead of using it as a means to not only deny their drones, but turn their drones into cameras like Valk cams and set them up in points of the map that help your team. And then if you really want to get crazy with it, you can play below and use those cameras to nitro soap people from below. So he is such a versatile operator. I would have put him in broken when he had that super shorty because he was just amazing. But for now, I'm gonna put him in must pick, dude. He's amazing. He's great. Goyo's good, right below Buck. His guns are okay. He brings 2 deployable shields that can explode. I also heard he's getting reworked soon. It's gonna be the same thing but without the shields, because people are complaining that the shields kind of get in the way sometimes, and I feel like that's true to an extent. I die to my Goyo shields from my teammates more than I actually get kills with them. So Goyo, I'm putting in good. Before he got nerfed and he had 3 shields, I would have put him in must pick. Every pro is using him. They're in every strat, but now Goyo's just in good. I'm going to put Jaeger in must pick. If you picked him every round, 0 people would complain. He has one of the best weapons in the game. He denies all grenades. So it makes keeping a wall open by having people that play Bandit a lot easier. Well, I'm going to put in must pick as well, just because he does the same thing that Jaeger does with a little bit of a worse gun selection. But he brings impacts or proximity alarms, which is also great piece of utility. But he also denies things like Ash charges, Capital bullets, Sophia charges, as well as all the grenades that Jaeger can deny. So Wamai, very, very good. Okay, Lion is in the void with me. He has some okay weapons. He doesn't need to be reworked. His gadget's good. They just need to kind of buff him a little bit. He's not situational. There's no parts where it's like, we need to bring a Lion and we'll win. He's not okay because he's not as good as any of these operators. So he just kind of exists. He's just kind of there. Nobody really plays him. Nobody really complains about him. He's just kind of in the void. Oryx is good only because of his gun. He's at the bottom of good. He has one of the best roamer mechanics in the game, and he has a T5 SMG, so it's really the only reason I'm putting him in good. I don't think he's really that good, especially if you can just bring other people that do his job but better. But there are certain maps that he's just absolutely crazy, and if you encounter a really good Oryx player, you will definitely feel his presence. But I guess that can be said with anybody from OK, so I'm going to put him in OK. Zero, I have strong feelings about Zero. I think he's very, very good, almost a must pick. He brings 4 cams that not only are just cameras, bringing 4 cameras, it's amazing, but you can put them and shoot them literally anywhere. They stick to literally any wall, any floor, any surface. They stick to anything. So you can hide them in places because they're so discreet and they stick to anything. It's amazing. Not only that, but they go through surfaces. So you can shoot a camera into a wooden wall and you can make that camera look onto the other side of that wall, and then you can flip it and make it appear to the other side of the wall, right? That's great. That's already enough to put him at the top of good. Not only that, but he has great weapons, right? MP7. Skyhook's okay, but I think I just haven't played enough to really gauge that weapon. Not only that, but his cameras can deny utility and shoot things with a little laser beam. So he's very, very good. But at the end of the day, there's just better operators to pick, and all of those operators are up here. So he's at the top of good with Buck. Okay, Aruni, situational. I think with Aruni, when she is situational and she is brought, she's at the top of must pick. Aruni is amazing. Honestly, you could almost bring her with any site. You can't bring her with any site though, but you almost could. But like I said, there's just sometimes where there's better operators to play. So I'm not going to put her in a must pick with people that like deny walls. So I'm putting her probably in the top of situation along with Mira. All right, we're down to our last row. Thorn. Thorn's okay. Her gadget's really hard to use, and even then you have to use it with other teammates. It's just a proximity grenade that goes off after a while. The delay and the wind-up time is too much. It's too predictable. There's too many things that can destroy it. The fact that you can just shoot it even before it activates just makes it really bad. She has a 50 cal SMG, though. I really do like that SMG. It's pretty good. But she's still only okay. Amaru is kind of in the void. If you have anybody with good aim, she's really good. You can go through hatches and stuff like that, too. She brings an SMG-11. She brings hard-breaching charges, so she doesn't need a rework. She's not terrible. But she's not really good. She's not situational anywhere. She's just really selfish, and she kind of just exists. So I'm going to put her just in the void. Doc is okay. He's just a worse Thunderbird with worse weapons. That's not true. MP5 is pretty good. And he has a 1.5. So he's okay, but he's not really on par with a lot of the other operators. There's just always going to be a better operator pick. Rook. he's borderline okay and in the void with me. If you bring a rook, honestly, no one's really gonna complain because all you're doing is helping the team even when you're dead. You're just giving him armor. So it's like, okay, cool, you're playing rook, but it's like he's not good. You know what I mean? He's okay. I'll put him in okay. Gridlock is in between situational and the void for me. Gridlock can be really good, especially like post plant where they have to shoot all your things and they give so much information. But if you want Gridlock, you just play Nomad. They do the same thing. So I won't put her in the void. I definitely won't put her situational because she's not great in certain situations. I'm gonna put her at like the bottom of okay. Ashe is good. I think she's good. She has good weapons. R4C did get nerfed. She does only have 2 Ashe charges. Doesn't have flashes anymore. But you know, she's good. A good Ashe player will shit on you 90% of the time. She's a 3-speed attacker, so it's, you know, she's okay. Warden, situational. I would normally put him in needs rework because honestly he does his kind of shit weapons, shit gadget. But there are certain situations where you do need to bust out a Warden. You notice that they're playing Ying every round or they're doing like flash strats, stuff like that. There are certain situations where you need to bust out a Warden. So I'm putting Warden situational. Yana, must pick. She has infinite droning. She can drone an infinite number of times and drone extremely fast because she has a first-person perspective. She also comes with 2 drones that you can set up as flank cams or use as normal drones whenever your Yana clone gets shot. That Yana clone does, however, get disrupted by a mute jammer. Dude, fuck it. I'm putting mute in broken. Mute is fucking amazing. He's great. He's amazing. Side note, anyways. Yana can deny a Rooney Gates. She can deny a lot of utility. She has frag grenades. She has really, really good weapons. She's the #1 entry fragger right now in the game. Not even a question. Not even a question. Maybe Zofia, but no, Yana's better. So I'm putting her must pick. Frost situational. Now, obviously, the higher you go, the less they're going to look for Frost mats, but that's not actually the case a lot of the times because they're so used to not seeing Frost players that they're not looking for them anymore. And there are certain maps where Frost is really good, like Cafe. You can play her downstairs. You can put random Frost mats in like Coat. You can put them in like Prep Window. You can put them at the top of staircases. They're not going to expect the Frost anymore. So there are certain times where Frost is acceptable. Her guns are okay. Her gadget, again, people expect it a lot. So, you know, it is what it is. But she has her own little playing field. And I challenge y'all to like kind of be creative with the Frost mats and you'll get some free kills. Alibi. Alibi is a really weird operator for me, and I've never really known how to feel about her ever. Her gun selection is amazing. So I already know that she's not in the void, she's not in needs of rework, and she's not broken. She's in one of these 4 categories. She's not a must pick. You're not gonna want an alibi every round. She is situational in the fact that there are certain times where if you play her, it's completely broken. Sites like Penthouse and Coastline where there's windows and there's a lot of places for attackers to be standing behind, like deploy with shields and natural cover. She's really good. But other than that, I don't know. I think I'll put her in okay because you can always bring her and she still like do her job properly. So she's not purely situational. She's just kind of there. Callie. Okay, so Callie's either a must pick or good, depending on who's banned. So a map like Clubhouse, where you're going to want to have Maverick and Thatcher banned, you're going to want to bring a Callie. Coastline, same thing. Callie's really good. So it depends on who's banned. I'm going to put her in good. But if you have Thatcher and Maverick banned, put her in must pick. Cav is in the void. She's not terrible. She has a thing that literally gives you wall hacks. She has something that makes it to where you can't be hurt at all. She has pretty okay weapons, but she's not okay because there's just like better roamers. She's not in needs of rework. She's not terrible. She just kind of exists, and if you play her, you play her. If you don't, you don't. That's all the operators on the tier list. I'm going to see if I can make some adjustments now that I'm actually looking at this fully. I strongly believe Mute is broken. He's fucking amazing. If they nerfed him just a little bit, I wouldn't really complain. He's pretty good. Nah, I wouldn't want them to nerf him. That means he's must pick. Fuck. I can't decide. I can't. He's like right in between. I'll put him at the very, very top of must pick then. Yeah, that's about the tier list though. I think Ella and Valkyrie need a nerf now. They have always needed a nerf, and nobody would complain if they were nerfed. I think Glaz and Blackbeard definitely need a buff. They need to be stronger, or to be taken out of the game or completely reworked. Other than that, everything on this tier list I agree with. Let me know if you disagree with anything that I put in here. I think this is pretty fair, but there's always going to be people that are screaming at me for putting Monty so low or putting Cav in the void, so I don't know. We'll see. That's it for the video. If you like the video, like it. If you dislike the video, dislike it, and I'll see you in the next one.